Well, a new invasive plant has been found on the Big Island. It's called devilweed, and officials say it is fast spreading and noxious. It was found near the motocross track in Hilo, as well as several places in Puna. Experts say devilweed is one of the 100 most invasive weeds in the world. It's toxic to livestock, causing problems for farmers and ranchers. It's also a fire hazard.
So when it's dry, it's particularly scary as a fire fuel, but even when it's not dry, even when it's green, that oil can serve as a fuel for fires.
Experts say the plant can also cause skin rashes and asthma attacks if you touch it. They're warning people who use the Hilo motocross to be aware of this new species because its seeds are small and light and could easily be transported on shoes and muddy tires.
Aloha kako. Today, our group will present the issue of invasive plants in Hawaii, a growing environmental, economic, and social challenge that threatens our ecosystems, communities, and future. Using the 5 major approaches, we will share our findings and explain our plan of change through our work with Ko'ulua Kalana. This issue is urgent because invasive plants continue to spread, impacting food security, native plants, cultural practices, and the health of our aina.
Invasive plants affect social, environmental, and economic sustainability, as well as several sustainable development goals, starting with SDG 2, Zero Hunger, SDG 3, Good Health and Well-Being, SDG 8, Decent Work and Economic Growth, SDG 9, Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure, SDG 13, Climate Action, and SDG 15, Life on Land. Socially, our solution focuses on educating communities about invasive plants and their impacts. Environmentally, we want to remove invasive plants and replant native vegetation to restore biodiversity, improve soil, and strengthen watersheds. Economically, prevention reduces long-term costs to agriculture, land management, and tourism.
Our project reflects interprofessional education because multiple sectors collaborate: nonprofits, schools, government agencies, and volunteers. We as a group focus specifically on social work, business, and marketing. Social work educates communities and supports families affected by environmental stress. Business analyzes economic risks and promotes sustainable decision-making. Marketing raises awareness and motivates participation. Together, these perspectives strengthen solutions and ensure long-term sustainability.
System theory reminds us that nothing exists on its own. Everything is connected. When we looked at invasive plants, we really saw how true that is. These plants don't just affect one area, they show up across ecological, human, and policy systems all at once. Ecologically, invasive plants push out native species, reduce biodiversity, and can even harm our watershed. On the human side, a lot of the spread comes from our everyday choices, like what we plant in our yards, what we bring home from stores, or even what gets moved around through tourism and travel. And then there's the policy system, which shapes how Hawaii monitors, manages, and controls invasive species across different islands. Because these systems are all connected, our solution has to be connected too. Real change means individuals being more aware of their choices, communities coming together through education and stewardship, and strong policies guiding the long-term management of invasive species. When all of these parts work together, that's when we actually can make lasting, meaningful changes for our environment.
To address invasive plants effectively, we used the micro, meso, and macro social work framework, which helps us understand how change happens at different levels of society. At the micro level, individuals learn to identify invasive plants and take responsibility for removal and restoration. At the meso level, we engaged communities through volunteer workdays, school programs, and partnerships with local organizations such as Ko'ulua Kalana. At the macro level, we advocate for statewide policies, funding, and regulations. Linking all 3 levels ensures individual actions reinforce community involvement, which supports broader policy change.
The ecological perspective reminds us that humans and the environment exist in a reciprocal relationship, a value that's deeply embedded in Hawaiian culture. When invasive plants degrade the land and water systems, community well-being declines. But when people care for the land through restoration, education, and policy, both the Aina and the community thrive. Kaulukalana emphasizes this by restoring ecosystems while strengthening cultural identity and community connection.
For our research findings, because invasive plants affect multiple systems and communities, we gathered survey data to hear directly from residents and understand the level of awareness, concern, and involvement. Starting with social impacts, should residents help their local community? Out of 22 respondents, 100% answered yes, 0% answered no, and 0% answered no comment. Is there any action being taken to reduce invasive plants in your community? Out of 22 respondents, 45.5 answered yes, 36.4 answered no, and 18.2 answered no comment. This shows strong willingness to help, but not everyone sees action happening in the community. For the section focusing on economics, do invasive plants cause financial losses to Hawaii's agriculture? Out of 22 respondents, 95.5 answered yes, 0 answered no, and 4.5 answered no comment. Have invasive plants affected your workplace or income? Out of 22 respondents, 9.1% answered yes, 86.4 answered no, and 4.5 answered no comment. Most people recognize financial losses, even if it's their own workplace hasn't experienced them directly. Lastly, environmental. Have you seen invasive plants change your local environment? Out of 22 respondents, 72.7 answered yes, 9.1 answered no, 18.2 answered no comment. Do invasive plants threaten native ecosystems and biodiversity in Hawaii? Out of 22 respondents, 90.9 answered yes, 0% answered no, and 9.1 answered no comment. From our survey, we learned that people want to help recognize the environmental and economic impacts of invasives, but there's still a gap in awareness and involvement at the community level. This SWRK video and project must focus on community action and education.
We chose Kalana because their mission blends culture, ecology, and education to restore and grow healthy relationships between people and place through aloha aina practices. During volunteering, we learned their idea of turning problems into solutions, like repurposing fast-growing invasive trees into lumber, mulch, or surfboards. This approach creates ecological, cultural, and economic benefits while supporting innovation and sustainability. Through our time there, our group participated in hands-on restoration with Kalana by removing invasive plants, clearing overgrown areas, learning the cultural significance of plants, and observing how restoration brings back birds, insects, and healthier soil.
Hey, my name is Shaden Anderson, and today we have a guest speaker.
Aloha, my name is Azure Paige Kaupua. I was born and raised in Ka'elepulu, Kailua, and also Waimanalo, but now I currently reside in Kane'ohe, and I'm an Aina educator for Ka'ulua Kalana.
Okay, can you tell me more about your guys' operation?
Yes, so as a kupa of Kailua, a native to Kailua, I felt a responsibility to return back to my piko, and I looked for Ka'ulua Kalana as an Aina educator, and we really focus on stewarding kanaka-aina relationships and re-establishing that bond between people and place, while also caring for 3 aina across Kailua. So we have 27 acres at the base of Ulupo Heiau and the banks of Kawainui. We also have Manu on the other side of Kawainui, and we've just recently acquired 62 acres in Maunawili Valley called Makali'i.
Okay. What are some challenges you guys face, and what do you guys do to solve it, and overall, what's your guys' call to action?
So right now, we are currently facing a challenge in Makali'i because it's so new, and we have just recently acquired it within the past 2 years. 62 acres of this aina is completely covered in invasive agroforestry. So it has been abandoned since 2012 when farmers got evicted, sadly, from that place. And so right now we are trying to figure out our best call to action, because if we clear the whole thing, then we open the space for more invasive species to grow. So we're moving slowly and replacing as we go. And instead of looking at these invasive agroforestry forests as a problem, we are taking these big massive trees and turning them into mulch to help our aina, and also clearing space for and opening up 5 new lo'i, and opening space for a native canopy to start growing.
Okay. Lastly, what do you guys have for volunteers or for the community to come help you guys?
So every second Saturday of the month, we have a big community work day at Ulupo at the banks of Kawainui Fish Pond, helping us to reach into the 500 acres that has now been overgrown in Kawainui. And there we will feed you, we'll hana, and we'll listen to the mo'olelo of that aina. And every third and fourth Saturday of the month, we have now recently started community work days at Makali'i Valley, and there community members will be able to be also fed with the food from our aina, telling the stories of this place and reestablishing these names of Makali'i, and working to help push forward. And every community member who gets to come gets to see us start from the bottom, the very beginning, and into what our future holds and how we plan to utilize that 62 acres.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for coming and speaking to us. That's all we have for today. Thank you, and thank you.
Invasive plants are not just an environmental issue. They are a social, economic, and cultural challenge. Through sustainability frameworks, collaboration, system thinking, community action, and ecological understanding, we can restore and protect the aina. Our work with Kailua Kalana shows meaningful change is possible when people work together with intention and aloha. By educating, restoring, and advocating, we help ensure Hawaii's ecosystems and the communities that depend on them thrive for generations. When we protect the aina, we protect our future.
Aloha kako o ka leo manuiwa ko inoa e ino wau ke hana nei no ko mako hui o ka ulu akalana. My name is Kaleo Wong, and I work for our nonprofit Ka'ulu Akalana that we began here in Kailua. We're committed to aina restoration and education, community revitalization, identity reclamation, and the renewal of kuleana here in our ahupua'a of Kailua. Our mission is to restore Kanaka and Aina relationships through bringing our community back onto the land through a three-pronged approach. The first is through ha'i mo'olelo, the practice of telling our cultural stories that exist right here on this aina that we take care of. The second is through turning our hands towards the ground and actually doing work to care for this aina and our natural resources. And the third way is through eating the food that we're growing here on the land. Some connect more to a mo'olelo, some connect more to working, but everybody's got to eat. So the work that we do here is rebuilding these relationships to people, to place, and to these ancestral stories that connect us to land.